Here's why Ellen is nothing like she seems. DeGeneres can act, host, and crack a hilarious joke with the best of them. But if you ever meet her in person, don't ask her to dance. In her 2018 Netflix stand-up special Relatable, she revealed that she's come to regret ever performing her quirky choreography on her talk show.
I'm not a dancer. I just danced as a joke. And then I danced the second day to good, and then the third day, and then I was locked in. I was the dancer.
DeGeneres eventually found a way to phase out the dancing from her show, but she's admitted that fans still ask her to bust a move during chance encounters.
Whenever they see me anywhere, they're like, "Dance, Ellen, dance!" I'm like, I'm getting a mammogram. I can't move right now.
While hosting a family-friendly daytime talk show, DeGeneres has understandably had to watch what she says to avoid offending viewers or upsetting her sponsors. That self-censorship obviously includes avoiding profanity, but there's been times where she hasn't been able to completely bite her tongue. DeGeneres once confessed on her talk show that she used every curse word that you can think of, and even invented 3 new ones after a 2017 mishap.
I had no ambition. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I did everything from I shucked oysters, I was a hostess, I was a bartender, I was a waitress, I painted houses, I sold vacuum cleaners. I had no idea. My girlfriend had been killed in a car accident, and we were living together at the time. My brother's band was performing, and we had broken up. We had fought a lot. She was trying to get me to come back home. I acted like I couldn't hear her because the music was too loud. I was planning on moving back in. I just was trying to teach her a lesson, and I was staying with some friends. So I just acted like I couldn't hear, and I was being really dismissive of her. She had left before us, and as we were driving home, we saw a car, and it was split in two, and we heard sirens behind us, so it had just happened. Nobody was there yet, and we just kept going. And I found out shortly after that it was her. And I was living in a basement apartment. I had no money. I had no heat, no air. I had a mattress on the floor, and the apartment was infested with fleas. And I was soul searching. I was like, why is she suddenly gone and there are fleas here?
It happened when she enjoyed 2 glasses of wine and then fell into a door and had to have her dislocated finger snap back into place at the hospital. While you'll have to use your imagination to figure out what particular words she used in that case, you can actually witness her swearing on stage in her Relatable special. Here's what she had to say about homes with shoes-off policies.
I got to get the out of here.
I started this path of stand-up, and it was successful and it was great, but it was hard because I was trying to please everybody, and I had this secret that I was keeping, that I was gay, and I thought if people found out, they wouldn't like me, they wouldn't laugh at me. So
at the time you told your dad, he was with, his new wife, right? And your stepmother. And what happened?
Well, actually, he told me that he figured it out. I was upset about something, and he kept saying, "Did you rob a bank? Did you kill somebody? Did you?" And I kept saying, "No, I just don't want to tell you." And finally, I told him, and he told me. And then they asked me to move out of the house. And so
because
she had 2 little girls that they worried that it would influence them. And it was still, everything was fine. It was just they didn't want me living in the house with the 2 little girls, which really hurt because I loved them,
I finally decided that I was living with so much shame and so much fear that I just couldn't live that way anymore. And I decided to come out and make it creative, and my character would come out at the same time. And it wasn't to make a political statement. It wasn't to do anything other than to free myself up from this heaviness that I was carrying around. And I just wanted to be honest. And I thought, what's the worst that can happen? I can lose my career. I did. I lost my career. I got the show was canceled after 6 years without even telling me. I read it in the paper. The phone didn't ring for 3 years. I had no offers. Nobody wanted to touch me at all. And yet I was getting letters from kids that almost committed suicide but didn't because of what I did. And I realized that I had a purpose, and it wasn't just about me, and it wasn't about celebrity, but I felt like I was being punished, and it was a bad time. I was angry, I was sad, and then I was offered a talk show. And the people that offered me the talk show tried to sell it, and most stations didn't want to pick it up. Most people didn't want to buy it because they thought nobody would watch me. And really, when I look back on it, I wouldn't change a thing. I mean, it was so important for me to lose everything because I found out what the most important thing is to be true to yourself. And ultimately, that's what's gotten me to this place. I don't live in fear. I'm free. I have no secrets. And I know I'll always be okay because no matter what, I know who I am.
If there's anyone in Hollywood who isn't fond of Ellen Degeneres, it might just be the people behind her quips and scripts. Around the time of the 2007 Writers Guild strike, a former writer's assistant from the short-lived sitcom The Ellen Show anonymously claimed in a since-deleted blog post that the comedian didn't treat her writers very kindly. As the assistant put it, "We'd watch Ellen in rehearsals, smiling and winning us over with her charm and comic timing. Then the director would yell cut, her face would fall, and she'd level a glare at the writers." It was also reported by Deadline during the time of the 2007 strike that many members of the Writers Guild of America East were disappointed when Degeneres appeared to cross the picket line and continued to tape her talk show amidst the strike. For her part, the host explained on her show at the time, "I support the writers and hope that they get everything they're asking for, and I hope it works out soon." Although it may seem like every celebrity in Hollywood is a fan of Ellen DeGeneres, there are some who just can't stand her, and when it comes to her beef with fellow comedian Kathy Griffin, things eventually got so nasty that the two found themselves in a full-on feud. In her 2016 book, Kathy Griffin's Celebrity Run-Ins, My A to Z Index, Griffin revealed, "I'm almost positive a certain beloved daytime talk show host once had me kicked out of a backstage dressing room at the Emmy Awards. I can't prove it, but this person, who has short blonde hair, has a mean streak that all of Hollywood knows about." Griffin later told Access Hollywood how DeGeneres felt about the whole situation.
"She was furious."
For her part, DeGeneres previously told W Magazine in 2007, "I know Griffin had a big thing about wanting to be on the show, and we didn't book her. She did a whole thing that I banned her from the show. I didn't ban her from the show because first you have to be on the show to be banned." The fact that DeGeneres makes a lot of money isn't shocking since she is a celebrity after all. But considering that she's not known for a lavish lifestyle, it might be surprising to learn just how wealthy she is. While she tends to wear simple blazers and casual sneakers on her show, her unpretentious wardrobe hasn't necessarily reflected her fortune. Thanks to her hosting gig, her Netflix special, production work, and licensing fees, as well as her habit of buying and selling luxury properties, Forbes reported that DeGeneres is worth an estimated $330 million. That put her at number 63 on their list of America's Self-Made Women 2019. She reportedly brought in $87 million during 2018 alone. While discussing the topic of wealth on her show, DeGeneres noted, "You shouldn't live your life in fear of money because you're going to manifest that."
Despite the rumored proliferation of gay people in the entertainment industry, Ellen DeGeneres is one of only a handful of superstars who dared to run the coming-out gauntlet. And she did it in spectacular style, declaring her sexuality on her primetime sitcom Ellen in 1997. After the show was pulled by the ABC in 1998, a stint of stand-up neatly filled the regular work gap, as did her hugely popular gig as host of the post-September 11 Emmys in 2001. She also provided the voice for Dory, the amnesiac bluefish who may have been more of a hindrance than a help in Finding Nemo.
I forget things almost instantly. It runs in my family. I think it does. You know, the movies are always written so well that you just do the words, and that's what's so beautiful about these movies, is that you get invested in these, whether it's a toy or a fish, you actually believe they have feelings and you get invested, and I love that about this movie.
With her comedic help, the film went on to gross $865 million.
What makes Pixar's films successful that I've enjoyed is that you care about toys, watching a movie Toy Story, and all of a sudden you care about toys. To me, that's an amazing thing, that inanimate objects suddenly become things you care about. So, and the same thing with fish, you suddenly feel like fish have feelings.
And in September 2003, she launched her daytime television talk show, The Ellen Degeneres Show, which won 4 Emmys in its first season and has continued to collect accolades and ratings ever since. Still flying the flag for gay rights, she was vocal in her support of Rosie O'Donnell's marriage to longtime girlfriend Thursday.
Congratulations!
And what do you want to see the push about?
With regular drop-ins from stars the likes of Madonna, K-Fed, David Spade and Kate Winslet, her show has romped home with 15 Emmy Awards in 3 seasons. And if that wasn't enough to seal her status as the host with the most, surely the invitation to MC the 79th Annual Academy Awards was. A mission she approached with the same plan of attack she employed to entertain the victims of Hurricane Katrina, in her hometown of New Orleans.
What you going to do for the folks from New Orleans tonight?
I'm going to make them laugh and make them smile.